Yep, 2 blocks and a blanket, and then we're gonna start on our backs. So let me just spotlight myself for everyone. Yay, cool. And there's a playlist in the chat. So if you want to start it after we get up off our backs, then you can start it, or you can start it now. Live your bliss of music choices. But cool. Okay, so we're going to start on our backs, lying any direction, and just lie down, and just come to your breath. Let everything settle. Feel free to take a few sighs. If you notice you need to take a bunch of fidgeting to lie down, feel free to wobble anything or wiggle anything to find comfort, finding your entire back on the ground, letting everything just melt down. Eyes coming to a close. Feel free to yawn, take any stretches that feel nice, and just take a few more breaths here. Cool. So just settling into the space, into your mind, into your breath. Forgetting whatever you were just doing and just letting it all melt down and away. We're going to do a bunch of twisting things today and some weird stuff. So just know that that's coming as you rest. And take one more deep inhale and exhale here. And as you exhale, just bend your knees and place your feet back down on the ground. So we're lying down on our backs, feet are placed down, lengthening your arms out. See if you can touch your heels with your fingertips. And then hug your right knee in towards your chest. From there, give it a little squeeze, give it a little wiggle around to the right and left. Interlace your hands behind the back of your right thigh. Flex your foot as if you're pressing it on something, and then begin to straighten your right leg, pulling it in toward your face gently. Nothing crazy. First time we're opening the backs of the legs. And if this feels super nice, you can always lengthen out the left leg as well. Just make sure the left leg stays engaged. And take 1 or 2 more breaths here. Keeping both legs engaged. There's energy moving through both of them. We're not locking out in the knees. I have a slight bend in my knees. Next, exhale, bend your left knee if it was straightened. Hug your right knee in towards your chest again. And then just switch sides. So hugging in the left knee, taking a few circles, a few shakes with the ankle, the foot, anything that feels good, just to wiggle it out. And then interlace your hands, interlace them with the weird pointer finger on top, pressing behind your thigh, and then straighten out your leg a little bit. Gentle tug, nothing crazy. Foot is super flexed as if you're pressing it on the ceiling, and lengthen out your right leg if you want to. Shoulders are down. Notice if you're clenching in your forehead or your face at all. And in anything we do today, you can always take some slight sway or like swimming movement just to keep everything a little bit more dynamic. So feel free to take that here too. Next, exhale, place your right foot back on the ground, hug your left knee in toward your chest, hug your right knee in, and then take big circles on the right, take big circles to the left, just take a few figure eights with your knees, one hand on each knee, just getting the hips a little bit more open, and then take some rocks from right to left. So we're typically rocking up and down, and don't worry, we'll get there, but it's interesting to try going right and left, and then get them up and down. Finding enough momentum to just come up to sit and lengthen out your feet. Cool. Coming in to staff pose, find yourself sitting up tall on your two sits bones. Hands are outside along your mat. And then once again, flexing the toes up, facing them up towards the sky, knees are slightly bent. And then just walk yourself a little bit forward. Cool. Doesn't need to be anything crazy. Make sure that your back stays super long. If you see yourself hunching, like you find yourself in your typing on computer pose, just sit up tall, up on your legs, and don't move forward at all. One more breath. And then let that go. Walk yourself up if you moved up at all. Shake out your legs. And then just using your hands as little mini Theragun type things, just give your thighs, go up and down, just patting them out, just giving yourself a little massage. I was doing this earlier today and thought it would be nice. So take it on up and down the right leg and up and down the left leg, inside and outside. Keep going, feel free to do as much as you want. Taking out the legs too, just let everything release. And then sitting back up tall, bring your right foot in and have it kiss your left inner thigh, still sitting on your two sits bones. And if you notice that you're rocking over to the left, that's where your blanket could come in, and you could just sit up tall on your blanket so that it allows your butt to just come a little bit more forward. You can stick it back so that you can sit up tall on both butt bones. And then from there, same thing, sitting up super tall and then walk yourself a little bit forward. Feet, legs are still engaged. If you already feel this a lot in your legs, then just stay seated up tall. It really doesn't matter. Cool. One more breath. And then walk yourself back up to sit. Shake out the legs. And then bring your left foot to kiss your right inner thigh. So it's like we're in a seated tree pose. Both feet are flexed. Find your butt, equal pressing down on right and left sides. And then walk yourself a little bit forward if you want. Or just stay up tall. Relaxing the shoulders, relaxing your neck. Feel free to give yourself a yes and no shake. Relaxing all parts of the face. They don't need to engage here. And then on your next inhale, walk yourself back up to sit. Shake out your legs one last time. Move move the blanket off your mat. And then cross your right shin over your left and come into an all fours position. Cool. So setting ourselves up here, hands underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. Perfect rectangle, finding your form before we do anything else. So once you're there, press the tops of the feet down and then flip your hands around 180 degrees. So we're going right into this. If 180 is too much, then just come to 90 degrees, fingers pointing out. And from there, take a few small circles to the right. Pressing down through both thumb knuckle sides. Imagine there's a tug of war between both elbows. They're slightly bent underneath the shoulders. And then as you make these circles come a little bit bigger, get your head involved, bring in like a cat-cow motion with your spine and really just get primal with it. Imagine you are a cat or a dog just waking up and moving all body parts around to the right. One more circle to the right, and then take the small circles again to the left. Pressing down with the tops of both feet. Your tiniest toe is also pressing down with it. Notice if your wrists are becoming a little bit swayed in. Make sure they're still parallel to the front of the mat. And then take bigger circles, circling the head, arching and rounding the spine. Whatever feels good, you can pause at any point if you find a sweet spot that you know needs to have a little bit more of an opening. One more breath. And then come back to your neutral spine. Flip the hands around back to the normal way and just press them down, letting all of that sensation ground into the floor or wherever you're practicing. From there, tuck your right toes Straighten out your right leg and take some pulses on the right leg. Beginning to open up the calf a little bit more, the toes. Next, inhale, spin your left shin out a little bit, spin the whole sole of the right foot down, and really try to find the outer part of the right foot pressing down on the ground. Spin your chest open to the right, right arm comes up. And you can gaze out in front of you, down or up at your thumb. Just really feeling for this part of your foot, the outer edge. You want that to press down as you lift up, and then bring your right arm up and over so that you feel the energy shooting out through the fingers and down through the foot. Chin can come up into your armpit, roll the shoulders down and back. One more breath. And then keep this kind of going as you bring your right knee down, lifting your right arm up, and then thread the needle underneath your left arm. So your right shoulder comes onto the ground, right cheek, right ear. And then your left hand's now in front of your face. Walk your hand a little bit more forward and up and over to the right. One more time in case you missed that. Just bring your right arm underneath your left. And as you inhale here, think of lengthening your fingertips out a little bit more, and exhale, twisting yourself up, chin comes up, right sole top of the foot is pressing down. One more breath. Bring your left fingertips back to your face. Inhale, lift the right arm up, swim it back down following your hand. Take a cat-cow or wiggle or roll or anything that feels good here just to rinse it all out. And then tuck the left toes, straighten the left leg, and take your pulses on this side. Hands are still underneath your shoulders. Shoulders are rounding down and back. A few more pulses. Gaze is down and out in front of you. Looking out towards the future, not back towards whatever is back there. And then kickstand your right foot out, spin the left sole of the foot down, get that whole left side of the foot down, and then spin your chest open to the left. Nice. Taking your gaze wherever feels good. Marnie likes to call that find a happy neck. So Marnie is here. Marnie's also a yoga teacher. Take her class, but find whichever place for your head gives your neck a happy feeling. One more breath, and then swim the left arm up and over like a rainbow from the left fingertips out and down to the left foot. Great. Really reaching in both directions. And then continue that movement. Bring the left knee down, lift the left arm up, and then swim the left arm underneath the right. Bringing your left shoulder, cheek to the ground. Find your hips still square. Imagine that they're both pressing into the same wall behind you. And then walk your fingertips up and over to the left. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Making your breath audible, focusing on it to let you move more into these movements that we do. Pressing down with the top of the left hand. One more breath, and then place your right hand, walk it back to your face. Lift the left arm up and over, swim it over. Take one more undulation, waving through whatever movement feels good, shaking anything. And then palms come out, palm print in front of where you are, tuck the toes, lift the knees, bend the knees, downward facing dog. So find your dog, imagine that you're walking it for the first time today. Take some pedals, shake an arm, shake a leg, move it all around, as much movement as you want. Total freedom to do anything here. Keep moving. Imagining that your armpits are wrapping in towards your heart. Knees are slightly bent, butt is sticking out and up. And then make the dog have a little bit more of a visible stillness, but you're constantly moving, feeling that circuitous energy from the hands, up the butt, down the heels, down to the ground where it circles up and back to the hands. One more breath. And then come forward and through to your plank pose. Cool. Just take a breath here, just finding your plank, wiggling anything out, fidgeting, finding your full plank. And then without moving anything, bend the knees, stick the butt up. Great. So bent knees, finding your really long dog, and then walk your hands back in about a palm print again. So we're in kind of like a Chihuahua dog, as they like to say. Energy is pressing down through all 5 knuckles, all thumbs, all parts of the thumb. I know we've been here for a bit. If you need to come down to your knees and then come back up, do it. Everything is acceptable here. And then find your left hand coming to your right ankle or your right heel. And then bend more into your knees and twist yourself under, just like we were in that thread the needle position. And if you're like, Dana, I don't want to do this, don't do it and come into a child's pose. One more breath, wrapping your armpit still in, bending the knees, find your left knee coming to your left armpit. And then place your left hand back down where it was. Cool. You can shake anything out. You can place your knees down before we come to the other side. Wrap your armpits in towards your heart. And then find your right hand coming to your left ankle or knee, ankle, front of the shin, heel. And then bend both knees and spin your chest under your left arm. Still imagining that it's wrapping in. Butt is sticking up, knees are both bent. Take one more breath here. And then place your right hand back down. Place the knees down on the ground. Just come to a child pose for a second. Let all of that settle. It might have been the first time that you've done a dog like that. They're very fun. Sometimes in our Katona classes, we stay there for a long time, as Robin can attest to. But just breathe in your child's pose, let everything settle. Take a sigh, rock your forehead right to left. And then when you're ready, come back up into a normal downward facing dog. Told you we were gonna get weird. On your next inhale, step your right foot to your right thumb. Cool. From here, just take a few rocks forward and back, right to left, just to find what your lunge feels like for you today. You want to have your right knee right on top of your ankle, perfect 90-degree angle, and your left foot is as if it's pressing up into a wall behind you. Cool. On your next inhale, place your left knee back down, untuck the back toes. From here, press your left hand down into the ground. Inhale, swim your right arm up, and then swim it down. Same thing on the other side. Inhale, press your right hand down, lift the left arm up, and swim it up and over. And if you can't feel like you can press your palms strongly into the ground, just come onto your fingertips on either side. But take these swims. On your inhales and exhales, we need to open up the shoulders. Knee stays right on top of ankle. Only requirement here is that we have the stability and the form in our legs so that we can do whatever we want in our upper body. Take one more to either side. And then find both hands on the ground, framing the right foot. And then what we're going to do here is just heel toe your right foot out so that it bisects the mat. Toes are facing out, heel is facing in, so it's on a 45-degree angle. Bring your right hand on the inside of your right foot. If you want to come onto blocks, that's also perfectly fine. We're just coming into a variation of lizard for a little second. And then just circle your hips to the right, circle your hips to the left. Whatever feels good here, roll the shoulders down and back, shake your head out. And then find some stillness and just let your hips press forward, knee is still tracking over your toes. Top of the whole left foot is pressing down into the mat. Shoulders are down and away. And then remove the blocks if you have them. Let the foot come back in a little bit. Place your right hand on the outside of the right foot. Tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, and then begin to straighten into both legs. Another amazing place to put blocks underneath your hands if This doesn't feel that great with your hands on the ground or on fingertips. And then take those sways, still keeping that down dog-like spine. We want to imagine that we always have this really long, lengthened spine. We don't want to hunch over and prevent us from living our full potential. One more breath here. And then place your left knee back down, bend into the right knee again. Coming into something kind of weird, place your right hand on the inside of your right foot again. And you might want to heel toe your right foot out, but just try whatever feels good for you here. And then bring your right shoulder and whole arm underneath your right knee. And you might be like, what is going on? What is really going on? I don't even know what the name of this pose is. But once again, take some sways forward and back. Circles to the right, circles to the left. Just like trying something new, you know? Always good to do new things. Your body's probably never been like this before, and that is a great thing. One more breath. And then come back to center. Place your right hand on the right side of your right foot, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, and then hop your left foot in to come to a forward fold. Both knees tracking over your toes. Let your head just relax. You can give it a big shake. Imagine it's connecting to the floor with the crown of the head. And then find a block again. Place it on its highest height or whatever you're using, and then come up onto fingertips on your left hand on top of the block. And once again, lift your right arm up and open to the right. As you inhale, and then exhale, swim it back down. Bend into your knees. Notice how your feet are pressing down. Inhale, swim. Exhale, let it come over. Inhale, come up like a windmill. And then swimming back down, following the hand with your eyes. And one thing that I did earlier this week that I really liked, if you want to try, we have all the time in the world, you can come to a wall and place your hips up against the wall as you do this, so that you know that both hips are pressing back evenly. So if you want to try coming to a wall and taking these swims, go for it. If you're outside in a park and you can't do that, then lucky you. So take a few more, pressing down with all parts of the feet. And then when you've had enough of that, you can just come back to whatever the front of your mat or your space is, and just let your arms dangle, let your head dangle, let everything dangle. Doesn't matter the width of your feet. Place your hands down, and then step or hop back to your downward facing dog. From here, you can take a few petals, find your dog. Inhale, plank. Exhale, dog. Cool. One breath here, just finding yourself here in the best version of your dog. And then place your left foot to your left thumb on your next inhale. From here, take those sways forward and back again, side to side, just getting into your legs. Right foot is pressing up against a wall. And then place your back knee down, untuck the back toes. And once again, taking those swims on palms of your hand, fingertips, on a block, whatever you want today. Inhale, lift the left arm up. Exhale, let it come over. And just keep going. Either side. Keeping both hips square. So notice that you're just only moving the upper body. Your hips are not doing anything. Your legs are staying where they are. Might be hard to find your balance. You might notice that you're using your legs, but try not to. And it just comes with time and repetition. Things will get better or improve. All those things. Take one more to either side. We'll all meet with both hands down. And then once again, left hand on the inside of your left foot, heel toe your foot out, bisect the mat, toes facing on a 90 or 45-degree angle, and then take some circles here. If you want to put blocks underneath your hands, that's great. And if you ever need to put something underneath your knee, if your knee is super sensitive, you can always go find a blanket or a pillow and put that underneath your knee. Make sure you took circles to both directions. And then find your hands back underneath your shoulders. Wrap your arms down and back. Elbows, imagine that they're facing back, so shoulders are down and back. Press the hips forward and let them kind of sink down, but not sinking and forgetting them, just sinking in that direction. There's still energy in your hips. One more breath. And then let that go. Walk your foot back. Come up to frame your left foot. Tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, and then place blocks under your hands if you want, and begin to straighten into the left leg, pressing down with the front of the left foot. Once again, that right foot looks like it's pressing up against a wall. Pulling your left hip back slightly so that your hips stay square. And take those sways, shoulders are down, shake your head. Breathing here, just giving the knee a little bit of a moment to not be bent. Opening the backs of the legs again. One more breath. And then bend back into your lunge. Place the back knee down, untuck the back toes. Place your blocks off to either side. And then coming into this weird pose that I don't know what it's called. Maybe Robin knows what it's called, but if someone wants to name it after this, you have liberty to do so. Find your left hand on the inside of your left foot, and then bring your left shoulder, left arm all the way under, and then bring the left hand outside the left foot. And then once again, just take circles, sways. You'd also see how far you can go under. Maybe one side's easier than the other. You can come onto forearms. I don't even know what animal this looks like, but you probably look super strange. But your foot in this case is kind of like a backpack strap. Like that's what we're kind of going for with your leg underneath your, or on top of your arm. One more breath. And then let that go. Unravel it. Tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, get bouncy off the back leg and hop yourself to a forward fold at the front of the mat. Inhale, place your hands on your shins, extend out your spine, look out. And then exhale, lower yourself over. Just wiggle around, sway. Take a big sigh. And then when you're ready, slowly begin to roll yourself up. Head is last to lift. Till you come up super tall, standing on both feet. Roll your shoulders back. And then shake it all out. Do whatever you want. Do a big circle with your arm and keep going. No one's looking at you. So just keep shaking everything out. Shake your hands, shake your feet. Really just letting everything go, shaking it off, as Taylor Swift would say. Wiggle it out. Taking a little mini intermission from our yoga poses. Let it all go from the head all the way down to the feet. Just let it wash away like a waterfall. Whatever just happened, any negative energy or thoughts, just really let it go. And then find yourself standing on 2 feet again. Have a slight bend in your knees. Bring your arms down by your sides. Palms are facing forward, and then close your eyes. So I really like to do this because by closing your eyes, you're really just at the mercy of your feet for how to stand, because you can't use your eyes to focus on something and be like, oh, I have my balance. So notice what it's like to rock your feet forward and back and right and left, or circled around to the right, circled around to the left, until you find all 4 corners of your feet pressing down, all 5 toes, all parts of the heel. One more breath with the eyes closed. And then opening your eyes, place your hands on your hips. Put more weight into the left foot so that your right foot can kind of come off the ground. Bring your right knee in towards your chest and then cross your right foot on top of your left thigh. Hips staying square, and then bending more into your left knee. Allow that to then bring your chest a little bit more forward. And now you have your sight so you can focus on something and find your balance. And we'll just stay here for today. You can bring your hands to a prayer. You can let your elbows rest on your left shin if that feels nice. If you fall out of it, no worries, just get back into it. Life's all about falling out of things and then getting back into it. So good practice for life. Take one more breath, wrapping the left hip back even more so that you get more into that right hip. And then place the hands back on the hips. Lift yourself up, lift your right leg up, shake it out, and then come to stand on both feet. Cool. Yoga is really not that serious. So if you ever want to just have a dance party instead of doing what I'm saying, that is also acceptable. So find your feet, bring the weight into the right foot, come up onto the left toes, and then lift your left knee up. Cross your left ankle over your right thigh, and then bend more into the right knee, sitting the hips back. So you want the weight kind of here more in the back of your right foot. You don't really want to be super forward in the foot because then you're likely to fall forward since your torso is also forward. And then take whatever arm variation you took. Notice if you're wobbling on your foot and notice which side you're wobbling more to, probably the weaker side. Just good information to have. And then pulling the left hip back, pulling the right hip back evenly so your hips stay square. One more breath, shoulders are down, head is not tensing at all. Notice if it is. And then on your next inhale, place your hands on your hips, bring yourself out of it, shake it out. Shake it all out, one more. Big arm circles, leg circles, everything circles. Feet down underneath your hips. Inhale, lift your arms up, press palms together overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Cool. From here, just come back into your down dog whenever you're ready. If you want to take another pause here in this forward fold, if you like it, you can. Otherwise, we'll all meet in a downward facing dog. Cool. On your next inhale, bring your body forward and through to a plank pose. Hold it there for a second and just drop your hips. Still imagine you're wrapping your elbows back, come into a top to an up dog, and then bend the knees, stick the butt up. One more time, a little bit faster. Roll the body forward and through to a plank pose. Drop the hips, up dog. Bend the knees, down dog. Take that 2 more times on your own breath, inhaling all the way to that down dog or the up dog, and then exhaling back to your down dog. Then after you've done your 2 times, we'll all just meet in our down dog. From here, once again, step your right foot to your right thumb. Cool. So, keeping your hands on fingertips, grab for opposite elbow underneath your leg. Cool. So this just really puts us in our legs. If your legs were not holding you up and you were using a lot of weight in your hands to help you hold up, you will fall, and that's okay. And then find the weight in your legs. Energy is shooting out the back heel. Your chest is on your thigh. Just notice. And then when you feel really stable, quickly just hop your left foot in and once again find that left sole of the foot pressing down. Cool. From here, begin to straighten into the right leg, placing your hands on the ground, release that. They can come onto blocks, coming into pyramid pose, wrapping your right hip back. Cool. And then take a pause here, take a few breaths, and just let everything release. As you exhale, just keep imagining the tension leaving you. Few more breaths. And then if your hands are on blocks, you can use them. But from here, turn your right toes out a little bit and then walk both blocks or just both hands over to the outside of your right foot. And you don't even need to go that far to really feel a nice stretch in your butt. Like I'm barely moving anything. My head is still in line with my shoulders and my torso. Like I don't need to walk like 5 feet over there. So you can just take a little bit of a twist and then take a few gentle rocks back and forth, just getting into this outer part of the leg. One more breath. And then come back to center. Have the blocks frame the front foot, right toes are facing forward, left toes are still facing up to the diagonal part of the mat. And then from there, step your left foot up to a forward fold. Bring the blocks out a little bit more if you have them, and if you weren't using blocks, grab your blocks and place your hands on them. And then inhale, lengthen, exhale, just drop your head in between. Ooh. And if you want to like take some opposite bends into your knees, if that feels nice, go for it. Take any movement around that you feel helps get all those snap, crackle, pops, cracking, anything. Let it go. Eyes can close, take one more breath. And then step your hands back to your feet. And then step your right foot back to a low lunge. Cool. So I'm gonna get rid of the blocks because we're gonna try things without them for a little bit. So find your chest on your thigh, you're in your low lunge, and then grab your opposite elbow underneath the leg, and then grab for the other opposite elbow. Cool, and just try to balance here, gazes down and out. Letting your legs just hold you up, like they're the scaffolding for your body, which they are. And then when you feel super stable, just hop your right sole of the foot down, right toes facing the upper diagonal of the mat. Grab for your blocks if you use them on the other side, place your hands on them, and then begin to pull your left hip back, pressing down strongly through the front of the left foot, coming into this long lengthened spine on your pyramid pose. And then you can just let your head dangle and relax. You can sway your hips from side to side, whatever feels good. Keep breathing. Pressing down through the back foot. On your next inhale, bring the left toes so they're like at a 45-degree angle. Right hand, left hand come on an upper diagonal, and then just take once again that weird twist. So you're bending into your left knee a bit, at least I am. My right foot heel is coming up off the ground. This is also an untitled pose, so you can literally do whatever you want as long as your knees stay in line with your feet, purely because if they don't, you will hurt your knees, and we don't want that. So just look down, notice where your knees are, take some little pulses, a little bit over to the left. And this really helps opening up the hips after we've been sitting all week at our computers or anything. So it's really nice. Walk your hands back to center, frame your front foot. Remove the blocks, bend into your left knee, place the hands down, step it back to a downward facing dog when you're ready. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. One more time if you want to. And then on your next inhale, bring your body forward and through to a plank pose. And I know I keep saying this, but imagine that your elbows are wrapping back. And as you bend your elbows down, lower your torso down to the ground in one line. Our elbows and arms are staying in towards your chest. So it's like a tricep push-up. And then make a palm pillow for your head once you get down to the ground. And really just shake your hips from right to left, letting your entire low back release. So consciously notice if you're clenching your butt and release it. As you exhale, see if you can release it a little bit more. And then from there, you're gonna bring your fingertips on the outer edges of the mat, kind of in line with your shoulders, so they're actually on the floor. Sorry. Forehead comes down on the ground. Elbows are facing up, so you're kind of like a praying mantis, if that means something to you. Elbows facing up, and then inhale, lift your chest, neck, head up as much feels good, and then exhale, bring yourself back down. One more. That was a total lie. We're doing this a few more times than just one more time. I'm sorry. Keep breathing, inhaling up and exhaling down. Doesn't matter if your arms get fully straight. This just helps open up the shoulders. And the next time that you're up, just take some circles to the right and circles to the left. Rolling the shoulders down and back. Imagine someone's pulling down and back on your lower back near your butt. They're pulling everything away, so your body is super lengthened. We're not just trying to like crunch our spine up and back. One more circle in either direction, and then lengthening yourself back down as long as you can. And then come back to that palm pillow, rock your hips from right to left. Let your butt release, let everything release. And feel that you are just a super long, like pretzel rod, just resting on the mat. Keep breathing. On your next inhale, place your hands back underneath your shoulders. Tuck the toes, lift your knees, and then press yourself back to a downward facing dog. Cool. From here, step your right foot to your right thumb. Oh, we've been here before. Wow. Okay. So we're in a right lunge. Then spin the left foot down. Great. So I'm on my fingertips here. My right knee is kind of bent, and that's totally fine. You can stay here if you want, or you can try what we're going to do next, which is why I've been doing all this shoulder stuff and all this weird twisty stuff. So I'm going to find my right hand on the inside of my right foot. I'm going to turn it around to that foot burst that we did in the beginning and walk it back. So first find this. If you find this and want to stay here, that's great. I'm still on the fingertips of my left hand. You can also be on the palm. And then wrap your left hip over to the left. Cool. My right leg is kind of straightening here. As you can see, I still have like a slight bend in it just because I don't want to knock or lock out my legs at all, because they should always be engaged. And then if you're here, enjoy being here. And then if you want to keep going, you can place your left hand on the small of your low back and then keep twisting your chest over to the left, pressing your knee in towards your armpit, or knee in towards your shoulder, shoulder in towards your knee. My hand is still on my lower back to make sure that my hips stay square. And you really just want to make sure you're in the center of your body so that you don't wobble. And if you wobble and fall out of it, great, just come back into it. And then lift your left arm up if you can. And keep imagining your back bending over your leg. And just keep breathing here. And it doesn't matter which part that you stopped at. If you're still in pyramid and just hanging out there and just swaying forward and back, that's also amazing. Everything is optional. One more breath here, playing around. If you fall, get back into it, just keep playing. And then exhale, let everything come back. Bring your hips square, bring your hands back to frame your front foot. Tuck the back toes, lift the back knee back up, place your hands down, and then come back to your down dog. Inhale, roll your body forward and through to an upward facing dog. Exhale, bend the knees, stick the butt up. Cool. Other side, and then we'll have a little child's pose rest. So bring your left foot to your left thumb now. Spin the sole of the right foot down. It's also why I I'm saying that so that you can find yourself in the center of your feet, pressing strongly down with the front of the left foot and the whole back edge of the right foot. Hips stay square, left hand comes on the inside, flip it around, place it like probably in the middle between your legs, straighten your left leg a little bit more. And then this is a great place to stay, just noticing what it's like to have your arm in this weird position. Wrap your right hip down even more than you think so your hips stay square. And then if you want to keep going, find your right hand on the middle of your low back. And then see if you can use that equal and opposite pressure between your shoulder and your knee to twist yourself open to the right. And I'm wobbling, so if I fall, then I'll just fall and then get back into it. And then lift your right arm up if you want to try it. The priority here is just keeping your whole lower body square and stable and making sure that your torso is really on one line. My yoga teacher likes to say you're on a spit. So imagine you're that pig at a barbecue that's spinning on that spit being grilled, which you know I would never eat, but you all know what I'm talking about, I hope. So let your head drop back a little bit more. And I fell over, and that's great. So if you fall, just get back into it, catch yourself. And take one more breath, trying anything that feels cool or fun. And then spin your right hand back down. Come back into your lunge and then step it back to your downward facing dog. From there, up dog, down dog if you want to. Otherwise, we'll all meet in a wide knee child's pose. Awesome. So we'll stay here for a bit. Let all of that settle. That was a really big and interesting twist that I did yesterday in this very fun Katona class. Keep breathing. Letting your arms come out as wide as you want them to, taking up as much space as you can. You can let your forehead rock from right to left again. And just breathe here, pressing your hips back, letting your arms and fingertips come a little bit more forward. Great. On your next inhale, just sit yourself up. If you want to just go into a down dog just for fun to like do one more down dog, you can. And then just meet us sitting on our butts, because I know I really creating that. By all means. But so we're here. We kind of started like this. Toes are facing up, legs are out right in front of you. And then once again, have your right foot in, coming towards your left thigh. Janu Shirshasana. And this time, pull it in even more so that you diagonally open. And this is another great place to place that blanket underneath your sits bones so that you feel evenly secure down through both. Have a slight bend in your knee, and then you can place your left forearm on the ground, or if your block's nearby, you can place it on a block. Once again, feeling that equal and opposite pressure from your knee onto your shoulder, shoulder onto your knee. Lift your right arm up and have it come over. Cool. Take a few breaths here. Inhale, lengthen, exhale. See if your knee can press even more so that your whole chest twists up towards the sky. You feel your heart even reaching up towards the sky. One more breath here. And then exhale, let it come down. Continue moving the right arm back behind you, and then lift your sit bones up, and then let them come back down. Cool. Bring your right leg back out. Maneuver the blanket so that you fidget back on it. Shake out your legs. Left foot comes in to your right thigh, facing your right thigh. Pull it in even more, diagonally facing out. Same thing that you did on the other side with your setup. Place your right forearm down in front of your knee, or on a block in front of your knee. Try both and see which one you like better, and then just choose that one. And then lift your left arm up and over. And if you can reach your right toes, super. If you can't, also super. This is more about the twisting up of the chest and less about I'm flexible and can touch my toes. That's why we bend our knees, so we can reach more things. Take a few more breaths. Thinking of inhale, lengthening, and exhaling, twisting. And then bring the left arm back up and around. Let your left hand come back behind you. Spin the right arm around, lift your hips up. And then let everything drop down once again. Shake out your legs. Cool. And then you can keep the blanket under you if you want. We're gonna do one more weird thing, and then you get Tadasana. So bear with me. I'm just gonna face you for ease, and I'm not gonna use the blanket, but you can always use the blanket. Come into a cross-legged to start, and you can do this as I talk, or you can watch me do it and then try it after. You're gonna grab for your leg like it's a baby, and find your right foot, come into your left elbow crease, and then grab for your right knee and have it come into your right elbow crease. And then you're just gonna rock this from right to left, like you're cradling a baby. So your leg is a baby. All of my friends have been having babies, so maybe that is why we're doing this pose. Cool. From there, we're gonna find that backpack strap thing again. So you're gonna use your hands and then press your right knee over your right shoulder. And if you can't do this, just stay in the baby cradling thing, totally fine. And sitting up on the blanket might help tip your hips a little bit forward, which is a good thing. From there, grab over the top of the right foot so that you're holding onto the outer edge of it. Place your right fingertips down, your shoulder is in your right knee crease, and then lift up your right leg. So this is called compass pose. And we've done enough twisting and everything so that we're ready for this. But just go as far as you can, and just if you want to come out of it and come into it again and then keep trying it, just take a few more breaths on the right side. Letting your chin come up to your neck like we did in the thread and the needle, and Janu-Sirsasana and all those different things. One more breath, and then come back to center. Let it all just shake out. Forget about it, it's over. Whatever happened is out the window. And then cross your feet again. Cradle your left leg in. Knee comes into left elbow crease. Bottom of the foot comes into right elbow crease. And just rock it from right to left, like you're singing it a lullaby. Cool. From there, backpack strap your left leg over your left shoulder. Using your hands, I'm grabbing for my calf with my left hand, and then I just bring it over. This is how I should use a backpack. And then I place my right hand on top of my left foot so that it comes and cups the outer edge of the foot. Then I flex into the foot again just to make sure my leg's engaged. And then I straighten my leg, place my left hand down, and I'm pressing into the left leg with my left shoulder. Cool. And you can stay in the cradle. Cool. Take a few more breaths. Yay. Keep breathing. Stay there. I'm just looking at the chat by Robin. Cool. And wherever you are, if you just stopped at the backpack thing, that's great. And then let your legs come out. Shake them out. Let them rock from side to side. Amazing job. I doubt. Or if any of you have done that before, cool. And if you haven't, then feel free to try it on your own. But find your feet planted down and then just roll yourself back. And let everything just splay out like you just fell onto your bed after an extremely busy day. Feet are flopped out, palms are facing up, shoulders are wrapping down your back. We'll lay here for about 5 minutes, so try not to think about like, oh, when is Dana gonna speak again? Just really embrace the rest and let your body do nothing. Listening to the sounds around you, taking them in, letting them go. And as you inhale and exhale, see if you can breathe out and out more tension, letting things go, finding what suits you and what feels better within you so that you can direct yourself in the way that you want to go. If we think about compass pose and what a compass is, we use compasses to find our way. So as you lie here, you can follow your breath and direct it to the places that you want to go, where you want to go. And if your mind wanders, it's all good. Just come back to your breath. And let everything just super relax. Breathe in a deep inhale and big sigh out the mouth. Let the sigh settle on empty. And then begin to bring some wiggles back into your fingers and your toes, letting things rock a little bit around to eventually rock you up, rolling onto either side, keeping the eyes closed and keeping everything super relaxed and released, like you're a bunch of wet noodles and all your limbs. Come up to seat, sit up cross-legged, eyes stay closed. Palms can be face up or face down on your thighs. And then find your breath in this seated position. Inhaling into the nose and exhaling out the mouth. And we'll take one inhale and exhale all together. So we'll meet on empty. And then next, inhale deep into the nose, biggest breath of your day. Hold it at the top. And then exhale, big sigh, audible sigh, out the mouth. Let it hold on empty for a second. Bring your palms to press at the center of your chest. Gratitude to everyone that came here today. Gratitude to yourselves for moving around. gratitude to your minds, and gratitude into the rest of your day, directing yourself where you want to go. And we'll end practice with a final bow. Namaste. Great. Thank you, guys. Let me know